Hey everybody, welcome back to Entirely Geek. I know it's been a while, but we're going to start doing this again more regularly. And to help kick it off with me is our good friend Brian Bedell.
How's it going?
What's going on, Brian? It's been a while,
Hey,
man.
it has been a while. Last time I
Yeah.
was just a guest, but why don't you let everybody know what's going on?
Well, our good buddy Eric has been, he's very busy. He's got a big family and he's in the military and just life, life in general. So I think for right now, you and I are going to be doing this show for a while, and maybe he'll be the guest, come on the show when he can, and
Yeah.
we'll kind of mix it up a little bit. But I know you and I have talked about this a lot. We wanted to get back into the show and start doing it again. So this is kind of our first foray into that, and we're going to try to do it more regularly and have more news and that sort of thing. So this is
Well,
going to be our first kind of getting back into it episode.
well, I hope we can make this fun and interesting for everybody.
I hope so as well. So to kick it off, we're going to start with the story from CNET, and it's talking about the new iPhone rumors. And I know you're a big Apple guy. I'm kind of not following it as much as I used to nowadays, but I'm getting back into it. But this story is all about what the new iPhone might be called and what kind of what they're going to have basically for versions. What can you tell us about that, Ryan?
Well, it sounds like they probably found out through Mac rumors, and that's probably where they got their sources. But it
Mm-hmm.
sounds like they have confirmed that the new iPhones are going to be named iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and the iPhone X.
Okay.
And from what I can gather from that is from all the rumors and everything that they have on CNET is that they're actually just replacing the iPhone 7s and 7s Plus. So right now
Okay.
they're on the iPhone 7, and usually the predecessor would be the S line. And it sounds like they're eliminating the S line altogether, just going straight to the 8, iPhone 8, 8 Plus. And
Yeah.
then for the anniversary, I think that's what we're seeing with the iPhone X. I think that's going to be the edge-to-edge OLED.
Now I have to ask, Brian. Do you think they're calling it iPhone X, but do you think it'd be called iPhone 10?
I'm thinking. I'm not really sure what they're gonna.
They had, back in the day, they had the iOS 10, right? Not iOS 10, excuse me, the OS 10, right? Which is what came out. And it looked like iOS, X basically, but it was staying for 10. I'm just wondering if they're going to call this iPhone 10 or if it's iPhone X.
Well, if it's anything that from what they're saying from the rumors, it sounds like it's going to be X. But I think the X is going to stand for 10, and I think it's because this is the 10th anniversary, so this is a
Ah,
big
okay.
deal. This is 10 years in, so I think X is appropriate for, especially since they do like OS X, and all that other stuff. I don't see them naming it 10. I think it's going to stay X. So
Gotcha. No, I would agree. I would probably say it probably will be the 10. It looks like, so what they're saying, based on the rumors anyway, and part of the reason why they know the names at all is because they've torn apart the firmware that came out, and they can see mentions of these names in the firmware basically.
right.
So that's all we know is the names really. But there's a lot of speculation. A lot of people saying that basically, the two lower models will be LCD, maybe even with home buttons and everything, just like the standard iPhones we've been seeing. This new one is supposedly edge to edge, no hardware, built-in home button. And the speculation is either facial recognition or maybe they figured out how to do Touch ID through an LCD screen or but that there's no confirmation on that yet, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
And the best thing is that this is going to be happening in 2 days anyway. So, come this Tuesday, we're going to know. But yeah, everything that I'm reading here, we've got the OLED curved edge to edge for the X,
Mm-hmm.
obviously.
Oh, that's huge, by the way. That's going to be a big
Oh yeah.
improvement from what you guys have had. I mean, I know I'm more on the Android side, so I've been, having phones that have OLED for some time now, and the screen, crispness and the blacks and stuff like that, it's just so much crisper and cleaner.
Hmm.
I think it's a much better alternative to LCD for sure.
Well, and apparently this is going to be the screen size is going to be the identical size as the Plus line. But the best part about this phone is that it's going to be smaller. It's going to be between the Plus and the regular iPhone.
Okay.
But the screen itself is going to be the plus size screen. So I think that's great. I think having it fit in your hand a little bit smaller, but at the same time having the same screen size as the Plus, it's definitely the route that I want to go.
Yeah.
So
No, definitely. So you're thinking if you get the iPhone, you're definitely getting the iPhone 10 or the iPhone X, as they call
Oh
it.
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I don't see myself wanting to downgrade to a
You don't have any
measly.
concerns over the possible lack of a fingerprint sensor or something like that.
Well, that is a concern, but I'm really hoping that they're going to implement the Touch ID regardless, because I just don't see how they can do it without. Because if you're paying for stuff through Apple Pay, I feel like that would be a dangerous avenue to go down without the Touch ID.
Yeah,
So
I don't know the issues as far as like how much they thought about it and stuff like that, but I feel like facial recognition might be a lot easier to fake than fingerprint recognition. And they've already shown they can fake fingerprint recognition too, but I would imagine that doing it via face is even easier to kind of fool the camera.
right, and we won't know until we see it. But it is a concern. You know, I I fear that someone's going to just be able just to take a picture of me and put it in front of the phone, and it's just going to unlock itself.
Yeah, that's definitely a concern for sure.
I have seen some stuff and some things that people talk about that Apple has addressed that, and they've figured out how to actually know if you're real or not.
Hmm.
But either than that, I can't tell you anything past that. But
Well, it does mention in the article that they're putting in like AR capabilities for with the laser, 3D laser for enhanced depth perception.
right.
Um, Perhaps that. Well, that's in the back though. I'm not really sure it's going to help you in the front though. But maybe they figure out some way to figure out if it's 3D or if it's a picture like you mentioned before.
Well, this is definitely going to be a more powerful operating system and phone. So I
Mhm.
would imagine that if Apple is going to go this route, that they would have to look at all avenues and make this work properly, because the moment that it doesn't work properly, you know it's going to be slandered all over the news.
Absolutely. If you can't pull your phone out and unlock it within a couple seconds using your face, it's not going to work.
Right.
And that goes for being, in a dark place, light lit up place. I mean, there's all kinds of factors that factor in when you're doing facial recognition. I play with some systems that have it on computers and stuff like that, and it worked to an extent. But there's always issues, like if maybe you had a different outfit on or a hat, or if it's dark, it couldn't always pick up every situation. So they're going to really finely tune this to make it work properly.
Well, I can't wait to see it. I do have my concerns, because it sounds like they were getting a lot of this stuff done at the last minute, possibly, and they were having
Mhm.
some problems,
Yeah,
especially with the Touch ID. I know that the initial rumor was that you were going to be able to place your finger anywhere on the screen and it was going to be able to unlock it. And it sounds like the technology is just not there yet.
right.
And I'm just hoping that they were able to at least implement the Touch ID at least at the bottom of the screen, because the button itself will be gone. I'm just hoping that like your finger will be able to read through the bottom of the screen where the home button used to exist, and that would make me feel better knowing that I would have that capability and option just to pay for goods and to unlock the phone.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that's a pretty good roundup. We'll find out on Tuesday what exactly will be included in this refresh. But a lot of cool stuff: wireless charging, edge-to-edge screen, potentially a new a way to unlock your phone. A lot of new stuff coming out. So we'll kind of see what's true and what's rumor on
Yep.
Tuesday.
Yep.
All right. Well, moving on. Our next story is from MacRumors.com, and this is talking about first run movies that are still in the theaters, basically.
Hmm.
And there's some reports that Apple is negotiating to bring out basically the way to have, after 17 days after a movie's released, you'll be able to rent it on Apple TV for about $50. And then I think they're going to do another thing too. At 4 to 6 weeks after that, it'll be $30. So this allows you to see a movie that's still in the theaters, but see it in your home if you're willing to pay a premium, basically.
Right.
And
Well, I think it's great. I've read a lot of people who seem to be a little upset about this because, well, they keep calling them subscriptions. A lot of people keep saying like, "Oh, just another subscription." Like, I don't want to be a part of another subscription.
mhm,
But it's not even a subscription itself. You're already subscribed to iTunes, because this is going to be implemented through iTunes. So if you're already in the Apple ecosystem, you already have this subscription to iTunes. So basically, Apple is allowing us to, from what you're saying and from what Mac Rumors is saying, is that we would be able to watch a newly released theater movie within 6 to 7 days of it being released, and they're going to charge $50. And looking at it, I see that $50 is a lot of money, but for me being single, that's a lot of money. But for a family man like yourself, you have a family of, there's four of you.
For yeah.
Yeah. So, if you're spending, between $12 and $20 a ticket per person, and then on top of that, you're spending money on food and popcorn. I can see you easily going past $50, and I think that this is really going to tailor to the families, especially the ones with small children like yourself. You don't want to take your kids out because you don't want them to be screaming and annoying other people or getting antsy and not enjoying themselves.
Well, just the fact that little kids don't sit for long either. I mean, I took Anthony to see Cars 3 earlier this year, and to be honest, it was dragging a little bit, and he couldn't follow it, and he didn't want to be there anymore. He wasn't acting. He wasn't acting crazy, and he wasn't screaming or anything, but he was just done.
Just a short attention span.
Yeah, exactly. A three-year-old don't have a great attention span, so he just was done with it. So I don't know how I feel if I spent $50. I guess the rest of the I can still watch it. You can do something else, I guess, at that point. But the ability to have it in the home for someone like me, it would actually probably save me money, frankly.
Oh yeah, it'll save you money, and it'll save you the hassle. I know that people go out to the theaters for the experience, but I think with today, with everybody having their large, OLED TVs and LED TVs and their surround sound systems, I don't even see how theaters are going to be able to last, because everybody has the home theater experience in the comfort of their own home.
It's true. I think it's a good point. However, I think that, like you said before, people go for an experience. It's nice to get out and do a dinner and a movie or whatever. You know what I mean? Just to kind of get out of the house and do something. So I think they'll have that appeal going forward. But as far as like having to catch a movie like that, it becomes more of an experience, not the only way to consume that movie. Maybe you'll end up watching one movie every couple of months on a theater and watching more movies at home with this sort of thing.
Right.
Especially if you have little kids or a family. I can see that happening. But you can't get out as often.
It'll just end up being a date night kind of thing,
Yeah, exactly.
Wife. And then even for myself, for me being single, I go out, and it's just nice to get out and do things with people. And but even myself, if I really wanted to have a workaround, I can invite a bunch of people over to the house and say, hey, bring some food. Let's do like a little potluck. And it's almost like doing a Mayweather fight, but for a movie theater, and everybody can just split the pot, and and then,
if you do that, it's really inexpensive then at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So I see this being a thing. I think there's a lot of people out there who are like $50, but I see this actually being I think it's really cool, and I love it.
Yeah, and they have to charge some kind of premium. They can't put it out there for $10. That wouldn't make any sense.
No,
I mean, it's just not. It just wouldn't work. They have to kind of make because they know people are going to do what you're mentioning. We're going to share and invite their friends over. I mean, there's got to be a premium to wanting to see that movie before it comes out. Because if you really want to wait, you can wait 3 months and get it on DVD or on streaming for cheaper.
Right. So, and then on top of that, it bumps down to $30 after 4 to 6 weeks.
That's what they're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that this is going to bring a whole new experience to everybody, experiencing the brand new movies inside your house, and maybe having the experience of having friends and family over instead of dreading figuring out how to get to the movie theater, or if you want to even go to the movie theater.
Yeah.
So, cool.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, very cool. So yeah, our last thing we're going to talk about today, it's not really a particular story, but just kind of wrapping up some things that are going on. There's so many more options now for cord cutters. I've been cutting the cord for quite some time. You have as well. And I've played around with DirecTV Now and Sling TV and PlayStation View. And I know you've recently had some experimentation as well. But just want to talk about kind of what's out there right now, what's coming up, and what is maybe coming up in the future as well, for cord cutters that want live TV still.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know that just kind of sticking on the lines with Apple, and then we can kind of move our way forward from there. I know Apple was trying to make a deal last year by having what I'm going to call Apple TV Live. Basically, it was going to be their subscription service for live TV.
Yeah.
Very similar to DirecTV Now and PlayStation View and Sling TV. But I know that that they couldn't strike a chord or a deal for the service. It sounds like Apple maybe had been asking for too much, or maybe they thought that maybe Apple was, just dominating the market, and maybe they didn't want them to be in this market. I don't know. Um, all I know is that it didn't go through last year. There was a lot of disappointed people, and that's why Apple came out with their TV guide. Basically, it just pulls all the apps in as a collection, and you're able to pull up any sort of content that's playing in every app easily and see it in an easy, simple guide, which I love. I think Apple was a genius by creating that. But I wish that they would bring their own TV subscription. I think that would be very cool to see them compete against all the other new subscriptions for live TV now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think you're seeing YouTube get in the mix now. I just saw a commercial the other day for YouTube TV as well. $35 a month gets you the entry level of their TV.
Hulu as well. Hulu's got live TV as well.
Hulu's it's all kind of started at the $35 mark. You're noticing that's kind of the entry level. I think Sling may be the one exception. I think they're starting at $20 or $25 a month.
Right.
But they offer less for that, so you're getting less.
Yeah, they do offer some good content, but there are some things like Fox News and things that they don't have that I know have deterred a lot of customers to wanting to go and use their service, basically stating that they're not serious about this until they start bringing these.
It is a lot of live. I think even local channels too. Like DirecTV Now, I felt like I sampled them recently in the last month. I feel like they had probably the best offering I've had so far, except for PlayStation View. PlayStation View had a very good live TV selection as well, including local channels, which I was impressed with.
I think PlayStation View and DirecTV Now are probably the top contenders right now. PlayStation View does have the edge with the software portion, but I think DirecTV Now has the edge with the content that they have currently, especially since they're starting it off at $35, and that gets you 60 plus channels. And for the movie channels like HBO, Cinemax, and Stars, it's only a $5 add-on for each of those services.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is unheard of. Even with PlayStation View, each of those services are a $15 add-on. So I think that DirecTV Now definitely has the edge for content. But I hear that DirecTV Now is working on. I think they've already released the beta, but they're working on a release for their new software update to bring DVR cloud recording and a new interface, and something that's just going to be more appealing to DirecTV customers, and hopefully be able to compete with PlayStation View, because PlayStation View is dominating the market with on-demand content and being able to DVR into the cloud.
Yeah, it's very simple on PlayStation. You basically just favorite a show, and it automatically records it all the time for you, or shows you the on-demand version of it. It's super. It couldn't be easier, honestly.
Yeah, PlayStation View, and then also PlayStation View lets you have I think up to like 5 to 7 accounts. So you can pay the $45 a month for their service, and you can have 7 people have that account information, and you can view things. DirecTV Now only offers, I think, 2 people to watch their services at once. Right. And then for the DVR for PlayStation View, I can't remember, but I think their cloud recording, like it's almost it's unfathomable. Like I think it might be limitless at this particular moment in time, but I could be wrong about that. But with the cloud recording, if you're wanting to record something, basically if they have the on-demand content, it'll just replace it with the on-demand, so you have the best version of it. Right. And then it'll store it up into the cloud. And I hope DirecTV really competes against their cloud services, because I've seen Sling TV's cloud service, and you do have to pay extra for it, and you're very limited to how many shows or how many hours you're allowed to record, and then it drops off after a certain amount of days. And it sounds like PlayStation View just kind of lets you go and do your thing, and as if you had the actual box there recording it onto a hard drive. So,
I'm wondering though, like, it's great to have DVR functionality, but I'm wondering why we just don't do everything on demand anyway. Like kind of like a Hulu format where you can go and just get all the shows anyway. It's already there. They've got it. Why not just offer? Why are you going to have a recording? The recording seems such an old school way of doing things in a way.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. I didn't even think about that until you said it, but I think we're kind of moving in that direction.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's not here yet. So I'm really hoping that they just get on that. And
I think DVR functionality should say like it's functionality in terms of you pick what you want to save, but there's no actual recording going on. It's just simply you have access to those on-demand things, or maybe just make everything on demand anyway. I mean, why not?
Right.
That's one thing I like about Hulu is just everything's available to me. I watch it when I want to watch it, and it's there. I don't think about like, oh, I didn't record that show, so I don't have it anymore. Oh, it's already on there because it's part of the what I'm paying for, basically.
Right.
I'll say this too. Hulu has their own service where they charge $35 a month as well for live TV, but I feel like I don't see the reason to subscribe to that because I already get all the content a day delayed anyway. And I don't watch TV live all the time anyway. So for me, watching a show after the fact, that's okay. I'm okay with watching it one day late. There are those rare situations you want to watch a live event happening, but for the most part, I'm okay with mostly on demand.
Yeah, I think that for example, when you get home and you want to watch a program and it's already halfway through, well, hopefully you had your TV on so you can back it up so you can watch it.
Right.
Because if you don't have it on demand, you're just gonna have to pick up where you started it from on a normal DVR.
Right.
The one thing I do like about DirecTV Now and PlayStation View is that on certain channels for content, they do allow a like a reverse function to where if it's already halfway through the show, you're able to turn on the show and start it from the beginning. And then with PlayStation View, what I've noticed is that I have 72 hours to back up to watch certain shows. So if I want to watch Hannity on Fox News, it gives me the last 3 days of Hannity that played at 7 p.m. every single night. So, if I missed yesterday or the day before, I can just go on that on-demand content and just watch them. And I like that about PlayStation View because instead of favoriting channels, you favorite shows. So if you like certain shows, you favorite those shows, and it'll actually DVR or just give you the on-demand content. And I think that PlayStation View is going in that direction, and hopefully everybody else will just have to compete against them, and the market will just kind of go that way.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm planning on in the next month or so trying a trial of YouTube TV just to see kind of what the difference is and see, what they're offering as well. Because it seems like they're kind of focusing more on like live TV, like local TV, sports, that sort of thing. So they're one of the few along with PlayStation V that's doing that. So I'm going to kind of try them out, and I'll report back on our next show how their service works as well.
Nice. Well, I can't wait to hear it because I'm done.
Well, it's been in beta for a while. You couldn't get access to it, but now it's fully open. So I'm gonna go ahead and try it and see if it's worth getting or not.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very cool. Well, this is a great, kind of just getting back into it show. I think we're definitely going to improve as time goes on, but this is kind of our first foray. It's been several months since we've done a show actually. So just kind of getting back into this. I'm glad to have you on board. I'm glad you want to do this with me. I almost was ready to do something on my own because I wanted to have something going on, but I didn't have a partner anymore. Eric's too busy, but I'm glad you decided to join me, and I'm glad that we're doing this together now.
Well, thanks for having me here, and I
love it.
I think this is going to be fun, and hopefully we get some interesting customer reviews, and if you guys have any comments that you want to add at the comments below, we'd love
suggestions. We'd love to have suggestions too.
Yeah, we'd love to read them and talk to you guys. So
yeah.
All right. Well, why don't you close this out, and you guys have a good night.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.